Caleb will sort you out later with the recording. Where were we? So yeah, the meeting's going to be recorded and we'll get that circulated tomorrow. If you drop out of the meeting at any stage, do just pop back in via the email link that you have already. Any major problems, then if it's dropping out too much, then don't wait around. Do feel free to drop off and we'll get that circulated and I'll give you a call afterwards and we'll have a quick run through over the phone as well. In terms of tonight's agenda, we're going to understand what refereeing is all about and what sort of the expectations are of us on both you as referees and as you on parents. Parents, there will be roles and that you will need to take on board for your young referee as well. We'll flick through the course details and we'll let you know how the course is going to work, how it's going to be laid out, and how the structure is going to be as well as what's required post-course as well, and the requirements to complete in the qualification. After Sunday, there are additional requirements that are needed, and we'll touch upon that and give you a highlight of what those are as well. We'll answer any questions that you may have around refereeing and the challenges that you may face as young referees or more experienced referees, as some of you are on this course. We'll be honest, we'll be open, we'll be frank, so there's no surprises for you either there. We'll give you some course contacts as well, both during the course and for after the course moving forward as well. So the course format and how it's laid out, the pre-course content, the majority of you have completed already. So there's the safeguarding for all to be completed, DBS checks for those over the age of 16. There's a SIMBIM module which will need to be completed as well, but you've not had that information yet, so don't worry, you've not missed anything. I'm going to touch upon that later. And the next of kin information as well. I'll go over the details of those that have yet to, or who have not received that information for yet, and we'll tick that box off later. So first section is tonight's introductory session, followed by Friday's theory and Sunday's practical based. So Friday's session is all classroom based, with Sundays all out on the football pitch. And we'll go into more details on sort of Sundays and Fridays sessions in a bit more detail later on. Post-course, there's 5 games of 9v9 or 11v11 football to complete. There's the exam as well, which it's an exam, but it's not an exam at the same time. So there's 42 questions based on that you'll have to complete. It's not a pass or fail type exam. It's an exam where you're giving the answers straight away online, and it's basically giving you an understanding of areas that you need to go back into and top up your knowledge of. We don't do it as a pass and fail for that reason. There's a lot of other options and issues that could arise from that, and we'd rather people have an understanding of where they need to potentially top up their knowledge on. So course essentials. So what do we require from everyone as well? What is the essential part of the course? So 16 and above all require a DBS check. All but 2, I think, now have completed the online part and are just awaiting verification. Everyone requires the updated safeguarding for all online module certification as well. All of you will need to watch the reporting misconduct video, which I'll touch upon later as well. Completion of 5 games, completion of the exam. Ultimately, though, you need to enjoy it. You need to engage with what we're delivering and the content that we're giving you over the sort of the next 2 sessions and post course as well, and the material that we put out there in the form of newsletters, online material, social media material as well. And the final course essentially is next of kin. For the next of kin, we require that for all learners, even those over the age of 18, purely in case there's any medical emergencies on the day. Fingers crossed that won't happen, but obviously in the world that we live in at the moment, with COVID-19 being very prevalent, we do need to hold details for everyone on the course for a next of kin or emergency contact. So post-course, you've got that completion of 9v9 or 11v11 football, which must have offsides to account towards those 5 games. That doesn't mean you can't officiate some mini soccer as well in and around those to build experience and knowledge. Of course you can. They just don't unfortunately count towards those 5 games of completion. You must engage. One of the benefits as well is engaging in the online referee development sessions. So for the previous sort of 2 seasons, we've held tri-monthly regional training sessions based in Sawston, Northstowe and Chatteris. However, obviously with the current climate, we've had to move these online. These will remain tri-monthly and details will come out when they are planned. And they'll all be ran using Microsoft Teams like you're using tonight. So we're working on a curriculum at the moment and, of course, and a delivery structure. And they'll start probably from early November. So you'll all receive details of those via email when they are out and about. Post-course is complete of that exam. If you're not yet 16, you'll need to complete a DBS the moment you turn 16. There's a few 15-year-olds on the course. So obviously you'll need to do that, sort of looking at those dates within the next sort of 6 to 8 months. Ensure all the contact details are kept up to date, both as yourselves and as your next of kin or parental details. For anyone under the age of 18, or correspondence will come through the parents, and I'll touch upon that in a bit more detail shortly as well. So we're going to dive straight into refereeing and what is refereeing. I'm going to show you a picture and you'll probably wonder how this is relevant to refereeing, but hopefully a few of you will recognise it and know the backstory behind it. So, does anyone know that runner? And for the majority of you, you probably, well, you weren't even born when this occurred. But feel free to unmute your mic. That's the microphone icon you'll see in the top left-hand corner. If anyone does know that runner or know the story behind it, feel free to share with the group. Oh, go on, Dan. I see you're unmuted. No,
I don't think I know the name of the runner, but doesn't he? He can't make it to the end, and that's his dad, isn't it?
Yes.
His dad comes on to help him over the finish line, I think.
Yeah, you're right, 100%. So the runner is Derek Redmond from Barcelona in 1998. So looking at the dates of births of the majority of you, you weren't even born then, which is already making me feel old, and I'm sure it's making a few of you feel old there as well. So as Dan sort of alluded to, the backstory behind this, we'd normally show a video, but with the connections being difficult, we won't show that video. But Derek Redmond was a runner in 1998, favourites for the Olympic title. 100 yards into his 400-metre run, he snapped his hamstring, but was determined to carry on. He faced a bit of adversity, he was determined to carry on, and ultimately his father came onto the track, evaded the stewards, and supported him in continuing in his effort. The reason we're showing you this, and the reason we're sort of linking onto this, is throughout your refereeing journey or career or whatever you make of it, you will face setbacks, you'll face difficult occasions, and you'll face situations that you aren't used to, that will test you, that will put you under probably some great strain. The idea behind this story of Derek Redmond, and have a look at it and sort of do a quick search of it, and I'll send the video out after this session as well, but use those around you to support you and reach that end goal. For some of you, coming onto the referee course will be predominantly about the short time, whether that be you're looking at it for the financial benefit, or you want to make a career out of it, or you're just doing it because you want to put something back into the game. For others, you might see it as something that you want to use for Duke of Edinburgh or CV building, university, college application, sixth form. Whatever your reasoning, there's a reason why you're doing it. And you're going to face setbacks, you're going to face difficulties throughout your time refereeing, whether you referee for 3-4 years or 20, 30, 40 years. It's how you overcome that. It's how you use those around you, whether that's your parents, whether that's us, whether that's the mentors that we send out to games to support and develop you and progress you as much as you can. At times you will face that difficult nature, and it's getting over that hurdle and getting over that barrier with something you're not used to. We're quite in a fortunate position in Cambridge where we don't have many major incidences, but the smallest thing can be a big issue for someone. So don't be afraid to reach out to your parents or to myself or to any other leagues or anyone else that you know within refereeing or within football for support, for guidance, for pushing you on as an individual, for growing you as an individual as well. It's refereeing's fantastic. It's a brilliant experience. Like I say, I started at 14 years old. My backstory was I got dropped once as a football player at 11 years old and threw my toys out the pram and never played again. So I wanted to do something within football. My cousin started refereeing. I thought, you know what, I'm going to have a go at that. And I only thought in the short term about it. I only thought, well, if I do this for 2 or 3 years, I'll enjoy it. It will look good on my CV. It might help me get off to university. 13, 14 years down the line, here I am working within and within football. So starting off at the ages the majority of you are starting off at 14, 15, 16, 17 years old, you've got a long way to go as well. For those of you that are 22, 20, 44, I'm looking at you, Dan, Ian, and Jack. The opportunities are still there for you, and the opportunity for progression are still there for you. You look at the professional game and the semi-professional game, there's people that have started refereeing in their 40s and 50s and have made it right the way to the top. So there's a great opportunity at the moment, a great pathway out there. There's the support out there to help you. So take it as far as you want, use it as much as you want, challenge yourself with it, take those times to reflect and look at where you want to progress and where you want to challenge yourself, and take it from there. You'll have those difficult setbacks, 100%, but it'll also build you as a person. You'll become more confident. You'll be more able yourself. You'll find it easier communicating to individuals. Whenever you go for a job interview, you'll find that you'll be talking a lot about refereeing if you stick to it rather than the job itself. So there's plenty of opportunities out there for it. The whole story behind Derek Redmond is that you're going to get setbacks, you're going to get knockbacks. Use those to build, develop, and progress as you go through. I'll circulate that video to everyone for anyone that wants to have a look at it, for parents and for the elder referees on the course. That might bring back some fond memories for you as well in our current situation. So looking at our parts played, what do we require as a CFA from both you as referees or learners and you as parents of those learners? There's just as many requirements for those parents as there is referees. So parents, you're not quite getting off scot-free. There is some quite big requirements. We're going to start off looking at you. You're going to become a taxi driver. You've probably experienced that through your son or daughter playing football or anywhere. You tried to tricking them over the county. Now it's going to be to referee. Don't worry, we're not going to send you from Saffron Weldon or from Wisbech in the opposite direction. We try and keep you within that 10-mile radius of your home address so that you're not traipsing all over the county on a Saturday morning. But you're going to be there to need to have a little bit of commitment there to ferry your son or daughter around games. You're going to need to help and support with the administration. Within refereeing, there is a bit of administration that is required, particularly before games, as well as after games at certain aspects as well. Administration is half the job with refereeing, whether that be confirming your fixture that you've been given to let everyone know that you're okay to complete it, or whether you've got any discipline after the game to submit as well. They're the two main areas that we look at. There's also letting us know when you're available as well to officiate games, and we'll touch upon that again in a bit more detail later on as well. You need to be there to support your son or daughter as parents, as touched upon sort of briefly on the last slide. Those adversities are going to come along. You know your children as good as anyone, so be there to support and pick up and let us know if there's an issue, if something's happened. Let us know if they're lacking in confidence or there's something happened that you want our support with as well. We're always there, but that first line of support is yourselves, followed by us. You're going to have to be a personal secretary at times for those under the age of 18. All communication for anyone under the age of 18 must come through the parents or carers. Anyone aged 16 or 17, it can go directly to the son or daughter. However, we will still copy you in on the emails for reference as well. If that's the case for you, all we need is an email just advising you're happy for that. However, at the early stages of the young person's refereeing journey, it's much easier to go through the parents until you're familiar with the system and how it works and the processes involved. And we're there to mentor. A lot of you will have seen football all over the years and will be able to offer basic guidance and support as well. But engage with our mentors when they come out as well. Take on what they're advising and help support and develop your son and daughter and reflect upon that with them. For the referees, communicate with your parents, communicate with us, whether you're available to referee, how your game's gone, whether you require a mentor or a game outside of what we're already offering. Communicate with clubs, with leagues, ensuring that everything you're doing is clear, concise, and is of benefit to you, and is getting out of it what you want to get out of it as well. As referees, you can help with the administration. So some of our administration systems are online portals where you can have control over that, such as our availability system, which I'll show you at the end of this session as well. Communication will go through the parents, but you can conduct that online administration aspect as well and lead you in good stead and gets you ready and into a process and a system for moving forward in your life. Engage in our mentoring scheme. So when the mentors come out and provide guidance and support to you, take on board what they're saying. Use that to better yourself and push on and learn. Engage with what we're offering, whether that be our online development material, our support sessions in a similar aspect to this, whether that be through our social media networks on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, whether that be through any content we send out in newsletters to your parents. Engage with the leagues that you're working with to collect your games and referee. Engage in the course, engage in what we're delivering and be enthusiastic about learning and picking up a new skill and a new hobby. Have some desire to progress, to enjoy what you're doing, even in those cold winter months when it's raining. Have that desire to go out and referee. You're all coming on the course because you want to take that step. You want to have that engagement level within refereeing. So have that desire to continue with it post-course as well. Ultimately, have some professionalism in what you're doing as well. You're going into a role now where people will expect you to do a job on a match day, which is something new to you. I'm sure the majority of you have played at some point and have looked at a referee and sort of been disappointed in their professional level. Take on board what they did wrong and make sure that when you're out refereeing, you're not making the same mistakes as them, and that you're being as professional as you can. Because you're representing yourself, you're representing your parents, and you're representing us when you're out on that field of play, acting as a match official on those youth or adult footballs games. Touching upon the pathway and sort of where we go and how we progress as referees. There's two pathways that we work off. There's the male game pathway and there's the female game pathway. That doesn't mean that female referees go down one and male referees go down the other. They all interlink and all work together in a similar way. So you'll start off as trainee referees until you've completed your 5 games and your exam. Upon completion of that, if you're age 16 or 15 or 14, sorry, 14 or 15, you'll become a youth referee. For anyone age 16 and above, you will become a level 7 and a 5W referee. Okay, so you'll automatically progress on both pathways. To then achieve promotion to reach that level 6, that level 4W, and further on the pyramid, that's when it moves into open age and adult football. And there's requirements around that which we'll come on to when appropriate for you when you're looking at progressing and moving forward. Ultimately, though, that level 1 is your football league status on the male pathway, EFL League 2, so occasional United play. And on your female game pathway, that 1W is the Women's Super League, with the 2W being the Women's Championship. Level 2 referee is your National League, so your National League North and South, the Vanarama League, and the Premier Division on there as well. So there's a bit of reference. Level 4 would be your local county league or your local teams. So you're looking there locally, your Surham towns, your Ely cities, that kind of level. Level 3s are your Histons, your Cambridge cities. Okay, so that's the standard you're looking at in terms of where you are in your refereeing career. How far you want to take that is completely up to you. But we would always like most referees can get to level 4 should they wish to, or to the 3W level on the female pathway as well. So this is where we need everyone to unmute themselves. We've got a quick eye exam, which we deliberately didn't tell you beforehand. I can imagine a few people with their glasses thinking, oh God, he didn't prepare us for this. It's a little bit of fun, nothing serious, just a little bit of fun. So have a look at that image, and as soon as you've seen a mistake, just raise your hand for me on the screen rather than physically in person. Lucas was straight in there, followed by Jack. So I'm going to come to those two first. You see, I think this is the quickest most people have got it. Hopefully they've all got it right. We'll normally say it for about half an hour trying to work out what the mistake is. Lucas, I'll come to you. Where's the mistake?
There's two there's.
There's two there's. First one. Perfect. Good. Most people don't normally get that, and it's normally the parents. So I'm sure there's a few of you sat there laughing now. The idea behind that is look around the bigger picture. Look at the bigger picture of the image. Sometimes it's not going to be quite as obvious as where you expect. Some of you might have been thinking that it might be the fact that mistake is in bold, or the colours are in a certain order, or is there a colour missing? Is there a number missing? I'm sure you're focused on the key details rather than the fact that there's two there's in there. Good. We're all past that one. Hopefully, we're going to pretend you all have anyway, and we'll move on to the next challenge as well. So another photo. Some of you may have seen this before, and the image around this is focusing on angle and perception, and how where you are in comparison to an image can have an impact on how you see. So I'm going to. Oh no, I've just raised my hand. I didn't mean to do that. I'm going to lower everyone else's hands, and I'm going to ask you in a second if anyone can work out what this image is of. And if you know it already, please don't jump to conclusions, and let's try and build up this image as we go along. So from that image, can anyone work out what we're looking at? Other than a load of black spikes. No. Take it back a step. A couple of steps as the occasion may be. Can anyone work out what we're looking at now? Just feel free to shout out any answers. No, some might see a face creeping in there. How about now? Might be a little bit clearer for some people. Some people still might be thinking, what on earth is he showing me? What relevance does this have? We're going to link on to that in a minute. So that final image there is probably the clearest you're going to get. And that image there is a statue of Nelson Mandela in South Africa. This image here is relevant because if you look at an image and an incident on a football pitch from being too close or not having the right angle, you can't see it as clearly as you possibly want to or think you can. You take that 2 steps back and you see a much clearer picture and can tell exactly what that picture is. I'm sure most of you now I've explained what it is, can pick out Mandela's face within that sort of statue. If we were to take 2 steps to the right or 2 steps to the left, we would see a completely different image again, and we might not see it as clearly as we wanted to or wish to. This is relevant on a football pitch because if you think, and you've watched, I'm sure we've all watched TV and we watch Match of the Day and we watch the highlights of the football, There's 22 different camera angles on a match of the day clip. And sometimes even after viewing all 22 angles from three different occasions, the three pundits can't all agree on an outcome of that decision. That's all relevant because every angle shows something completely different, and it's up to us as referees to ensure we get into that optimal viewing position in order to judge a challenge where who the ball came off last, whether it's a goal kick or a corner kick, or whether there was a foul or not a foul, or whether the ball has gone over the line or not. So many different things to take into consideration, but ensuring that we have that optimal viewing position allows us to get the clearest image that we can possibly see. If we see an incident from this distance, we might see it, we might be able to work it out, but we're kind of guessing. We're not 100% clear on what we're seeing. If we have it like this, it's a lot clearer, and we have a bigger opportunity to get that decision correct, and that opportunity to give that decision a lot easier. Linking in to Friday's session, we're going to spend a lot of the time looking at understanding challenges. So what is a foul, what isn't a foul, what's a cautionable offence, what isn't a cautionable offence, what are direct free kicks, what aren't direct free kicks, okay, or what are indirect free kicks. And we're going to try and work out and learn around all of those different aspects ready to take onto the field on Sunday. So we're going to be looking at fair challenges, careless challenges, reckless challenges, and excessive force challenges. So careless, reckless, and excessive force are three terms that we are going to use very heavily over the next two sessions. What I want you to do is, I'm not going to go into too much detail on it at the moment, but I want you to go away ahead of Friday's session, have a look into what those three terms mean in a footballing sense, ready for that session on Friday. So careless, reckless, excessive force. I'll give you a clue. The colours of the words reckless and excessive force are relevant. One's yellow, one's red. So have a think, have a chat with your parents or with each other if you know each other on the course. I know there's a few people that are from similar schools or football clubs. Try and work out what those terms mean and how we're going to implement them within refereeing, and how we're going to use them on a game-by-game basis. So, details of the course. So obviously tonight's session, you're all here, which is fantastic. Classroom session on Friday is at our headquarters in Impington. For those of you that aren't familiar with it, our offices attach onto Histon Football Club's stadium next to the recreation grounds. So that might make it easier for you. So it's a 7 o'clock start, and we're going to finish around 8. Please arrive in good time. Obviously, with all the COVID requirements that I'm going to go through sort of towards the end of this presentation, it might take a while as well. So please arrive sort of 15, 20, 25 minutes beforehand, just to ensure that you're all there and we've not got loads of people turning up at once. It's likely that there will be a queue when you get there, because it will be one at a time, temperature checks and stuff like that. So hopefully the weather's kind to us. Today's session is over at Northstowe Secondary College. For those of you that aren't familiar with that, that's the new development next door to Long Stanton. I will show you where it is shortly, and I'll email through some directions at the end of this meeting as well for you, so you have those details available to you. So COVID-19, it's important we touch upon this and cover those key areas ahead of Friday. We do appreciate that. It's guidelines that have been put to us by both the FA nationally as well as the government. So it's important that everyone is crystal clear on what is expected and what will be required on the days of the sessions. This has all come out on the last email that was sent out Monday evening. So just to sort of recap and highlight, 24 hours prior to the start of the session, you'll need to complete the self-screening questionnaire. So from 6 or 7 o'clock on Thursday evening tomorrow night. So in 24 hours time, you'll need to click on that link and complete that self-screening questionnaire. If you answer yes to any of the questions, one of our members of staff will be in touch with you the following day on Friday to let you know the next steps for that. You'll also need to do that Saturday during the day as well. If you forget or don't complete it, our COVID officers for each of those days will be in touch with you to complete that over the phone and answer any questions you've got. Upon entering both sites, you'll need to complete the relevant track and trace details. These will be stored in line with GDPR and government guidelines as well. You'll need to turn up to both sessions wearing face coverings. If you don't have one, we will provide one on entry on both sites. So for the classroom session, or for both sessions, you'll need to wear it for the duration of the session. It might sound strange, the reason why we're saying for both sessions, even the outdoors, but the reason behind that is if we were to have a situation where someone was to come down ill during the session and we weren't all being fully cautious, we would have to cancel the session midway by doing more than is expected from happening as best we can. Okay, so face coverings will need to be worn for the duration of the classroom session and the outdoor session all day. Okay. Upon arrival to the venue, there'll be temperature checks completed. And if your temperature is above that 37.8 degree magic number, unfortunately, you won't be allowed to enter the building or the 3G facility on the day, and you'll be asked to return home. With that, for anyone that is dropping their son or daughter off, you will need to come with them to complete that temperature check, just in case that temperature is above that level. The last thing we want is for someone to be denied entrance, trying to get hold of yourselves as you're driving away, particularly in Northstowe where there is a lack of signal upon entry to the school. Make sure you drop your child off, which will be clearly signposted, and you'll see a COVID officer with a temperature gun, both downstairs at the front entrance as you come onto the Cambridgeshire FA headquarters site, and on the entrance by the car park at Northstowe Secondary School, which is that bit there. If we are queuing again, just remember that 2 metre social distancing, which I'm sure you're all familiar with now in supermarkets. Entry on both sites, there'll be hand sanitizer provided on entry, and it's expected that learners make use of that. There'll be bottles on the table for the classroom-based session. However, the pitch-based session, you'll need to bring your own throughout the day as well, just to ensure that we've got enough. We have got plenty. Learners will need to bring their refreshments to both sessions. Normally at our headquarters, we've got the coffee machine, we've got the water machine. For obvious reasons, these will be out of use on the Friday session. So any water or drinks you want to bring along with you, please bring your own. And on the Sunday, you'll need to bring your own lunch, plenty of fluids to take on board throughout the day as well. We haven't got access to any indoor facilities except for toilets, and there's no drinking water in those facilities either. So make sure you bring in plenty of water or fluids. We'd rather you bring too much than not enough, and make sure they're all clearly labelled as well. They're going to be in groups of 6 on the day with a tutor, so they're not going to be in massive numbers, but if everyone turns up with the same bottle, obviously we don't want any situations where learners are accidentally using each other's refreshments. On Friday, we will supply all of the refereeing equipment needed. So on Friday, you'll receive your whistle, your flags, your red and yellow cards, your notepads. And for those of you under the age of 18, you'll also receive your relevant permit. On the email that's going to follow this, there'll be details about the purple shirt scheme, and all we need is you to just drop back and let us know the size that you require, medium, large. and that'll all be bagged up, waiting for you on Friday when you arrive. Even during the delivery of the session, learners, please remember to keep that 2 metre social distancing at all times. You'll be in groups of 6 with a tutor on Sunday. We've got 3 tutors plus the COVID officer. There's going to be 4 county FA staff there on the day delivering. If we have a situation where a tutor 9 and 9, we've gone overboard on the tutors just in case there is an issue prior to this. Fingers crossed there won't be. One thing that's also required is for anyone under the age of 18, we require those parental consent forms, just to ensure that you're aware of the processes and you've seen the risk assessment and are happy for your young person to attend. That was all on the email sent on Monday evening. Skipped one. Importantly as well, for Friday's session, you'll need to bring your own notepad and pen. We would normally do it as a group activity for the different areas that we're doing, with cue cards handed out and stuff, but we were unable to do that due to the COVID-19 guidelines. So please bring relevant notepad and pen for the Friday session. Wouldn't be a bad idea to bring on the Sunday as well, in case you want to make notes during your breaks. Before we move on to the next section, linking into breaks, on the Sunday session, groups will be breaking between every hour and every hour and a half for sanitisation, for toilet breaks, refreshments, and so on and so forth. So there's going to be plenty of opportunities to sanitise hands and the equipment used as there's going to be opportunities there for that. All of the breaks are going to be staggered between the groups, so there won't be any more than one group breaking at a time. Okay, tutors have got clear instructions on delivery, what's going to be the times, and when the breaks are, so there'll only ever be 6 people plus the tutor on a break at any one time. In terms of what's next, safeguarding for all, according to my records, these 6 people need to complete this still. If you believe you have completed it and your name's appearing on there, please completed it, but it's not shown on their record yet. So I'm in the FA education team to provide me an update on that. So if your name's appearing on there and you haven't, and you believe you've completed it, please do let me know. DBS check. So Lucas, obviously I spoke to your mum Zoe earlier. That's now in process. And Jack, I spoke to your mum as well. So those 2 are both in process. Your online part of the DBS check. Next of kin details, I just still require them from Dan, Ian, and Josh. I think there was probably a miscommunication on the email, which is why you 3 have yet to complete that. I think on the initial email I stated only under 18s. However, if you guys can still complete that as well, so we've got some emergency contacts for you just in case, that would be great. And then the COVID-19 consent form for those 7 individuals there as well. Again, if you think you've sent it across to me already, all of those that have come through to me, can you just send it through again? As soon as possible. In the email following this, I will also reattach the form for you. What's next? So we've also got the FA SIMBIN module to complete as well. This will give you an overview of how the SIMBINs are working within football following their introduction 3 seasons ago now. So that will take about an hour to complete and will need to be completed before Sunday session. Not as essential for Friday, but we will need it for Sunday. So please ensure that is completed. I will show you how that looks and works shortly. So where are we going on Sunday? Let me skip back to that in a moment. For those of you that think you might have completed the safeguarding for all qualification, please make sure that at the end of the session you used that exit button at the top right to workshop. However, please ensure that you've ticked that or you've gone through that process. If you don't believe you have, log back in, go back onto Safeguarding for All. You won't need to recomplete the whole process. You'll just need to click back onto that particular last module, and it should allow you to complete the last couple of slides again, and then exit it to save your progress from there. If you believe you've all done that and it's still not showing on your Fanny, your name was on that list, like I say, just drop me an email with the date you completed it and I'll get that chased up and sorted out. In terms of key contacts, here are the, what's the nicest way of putting it? The faces of those that you will see throughout the duration of the course. So that's myself, first left. I'll unmute my camera now so you can see me as well. I'm the lead tutor on the whole course. I'll be delivering all of the sessions. I'm also the designated first aider for the duration of the course as well. On Friday's session, you'll have Diane Bradshaw completing the COVID-19 officer role, so she'll be there doing all the temperature checks upon entry as well. Diane is also our designated safeguarding officer at the County FA, so she's our main point of contact should you have any safeguarding concerns during the duration of the course. Colin Hill's in the middle, on the left-hand side, there is our COVID officer on Sunday, and will be the individual greeting you on your face if you've got any safeguarding concerns on that Sunday. Please don't be afraid to speak to him. As well. And on the right hand side, we've got Martin Holmes. He's one of our tutors on Friday night. Martin is with us tonight, or was with us tonight. Martin, if you want to unmute yourself and take your camera on, give you. If you're still here.
It's just that.
Good evening, everybody. How are we doing?
No, maybe I'll put him to sleep. He was here, but he must be asleep. Martin, his experience-wise, he's a football league assistant referee, so has plenty of knowledge and experience that he can share with you on Friday.
He's not, Martin, and he said hello, and the other guy's like,
he's not fell asleep. I've just woken him up. So, Martin,
how are we doing? Good evening, everybody. Yeah, Martin Holmes, referee. Is it working, Sam? Is it?
So also, here's Martin. Hello, Martin.
Can everybody hear me?
Yeah, it's working.
Yeah, it's working. Perfect. Yeah, good evening. National List assistant referee, Kansas FA tutor, coach. National List referee from 17 years of age, and now operate with the PGMOL on the Football League, as Sam said.
Thank you, Martin. Also with us on Sunday, we've got Darren Lander, who isn't able to join us tonight as he's a late replacement due to one of our other tutors meant to be with us picking up a fixture. Also with us, and I believe he is still on this call as well, unless I've also put him to sleep. No, he is still here, is Richard Fullocks. Richard, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi everyone. Kind of the same as Martin. Looking really forward to Sunday. I'm been refereeing for a short amount of time compared to those two. Probably my 5th season. I'm a level 4 referee. I'm really looking forward to working with you.
Oh, mate, thank you, Richard. So Richard has been delivering with us 16 months really. Martin's been heavily involved with continued development of our referees at the county as well, and offers that continued support as well. Darren, there in the middle, he's been refereeing similar length of time to me, about 13-14 years. Experience as well that he's keen to offer, and is looking forward to meeting everyone on Sunday. In terms of county FA contacts, I'm going to be your main port of call moving forward as well. even after the course. Colin, who is the COVID officer on Sunday, is the football operations manager, so is my line manager. So any concerns that you have should be raised with him. Di, being safeguarding officer, her key contact details there as well. Chris Abbott is our referee appointments officer, and he'll be the individual that will give the majority of you, or all of you, your fixtures and appointments on a weekly basis. And then should you need to go to the top for any reason, then Joanne Ball, their chief executive officer, her contact details are there as well. All of these contact details are provided in our post-course pack, which will be emailed to you on Sunday. And the key details for myself, Colin, Di and Joe will be on the email for you, sent out shortly after this meeting. Before I open the floor to any questions, I'm just going to show you where some brief directions to Northstowe College, for those of you that aren't familiar with the location. If I can find the right screen to share, so I want to share that. So that's not the right screen. I'm going to come off that. There you go. So hopefully you can all see the Google Maps screen there. Northstowe Village College. Northstowe Village is the development that's popped up to the east of Longstanton. If you come off the junction of Bar Hill, it's a fairly straightforward 10-minute drive to the facility. When you come into Northstowe, there's a set of traffic lights on this junction here. You'll follow it to the end of the roundabout and turn left, and then follow the road and follow that all the way till the end. You'll get to about here and think you've gone too far. Everyone always does. Keep driving until the end of the road. If you are, the only way you can go past the school and miss it, you'll be in the fields. So drive all the way to the end of the road, and the college will appear as you turn around the corner, along with the SEN school that's next door as well. So you'll come around the corner and you'll be able to see the floodlights for the facility there as well. Directions for that will be emailed to you after the meeting as well. In terms of any questions, has anyone got any? If you have, raise your hand, unmute your mic and fire away. No? I think we're all good. If anyone has any questions that they don't want to ask in front of the group, or come to them later this evening or tomorrow, don't be afraid to pick up the phone and give me a call, drop me an email. Happy to answer any questions you may have. Other than that, that is the end of this session. Thank you all very much for your time. We will get the recording